The Board of Education and the National Federation of Teachers recently went to arbitration over their contract. The decision of the arbitration panel included the following. Quote, the panel suggests that the dysfunctional nature of the current salary structure and longevity benefits, the generosity of which is unprecedented in the state, are worthy subjects of negotiation in the reopener, unquote. As an ex officio member of the Board of Education, and as a member of the Board of Estimate and Taxation, if you were elected mayor, what role do you see yourself playing in the contract reopener, which will occur during your term in office?
I think it's to be a facilitator. You have to sit at the table, you have to get involved. You can't look and say, well, it doesn't fall on my shoulders. I'll let the BET take care of that. I'll let the BOE take care of this. You have to be a hands-on person to sit at the table. I believe that reasonable people looking to negotiate contracts can come up with a contract that balances the right of the individual to earn a fair wage with good benefits, along with the rights of the taxpayers not to be overtaxed and overburdened. So I will be active in sitting at the table and helping facilitate. I have the unique experience of having been not only a department head for 17 years, sitting on one side of the table, but a union president for 4 years and an executive board member for 10 years. So I've negotiated from both sides of the table, and I think I bring that unique experience with me, that reasonable people sitting down at the table can work out a deal without going to arbitration, without taking it outside and letting some third party make a decision.
Mr. Moccia?
Well, obviously, as an ex officio member of both boards, and if there is a reopening, you are participating. And during the last contract, and many of the contract negotiations, Mr. Hamilton was involved in arbitration hearings. I've received the reports. I gave my input. I understand we have great teachers in this system, and they are very well paid. And during the time of the economic crisis, many city employees took furloughs, took zero increases. And I think you have to sit down and look at dealing with unions in a different perspective than we did 10 years ago. It is a different world out there. There has to be some more givebacks from unions, but also respecting what they do as professionals. Now, I understand the NFT's endorsements, I understand that. Maybe they think I'm too hard a negotiator. I don't know. But I do know one thing. Yes, the balance has to be there, but the balance also has to be to the taxpayers of this city that pay the tax and do not want to be forced out of their homes because of high taxes. It is not a lack of respect to say to a party on the other side, I don't agree with you, we're negotiating hard. And that's been my stand all along. Fairness, balance, and make sure both sides are represented well.
Mr. Rilling?
I didn't hear the mayor say he will be sitting at the table as an ex officio member of the BET or the BOE. That is where the mayor belongs. Working out the details of the contract, helping to facilitate so it doesn't get into an adversarial relationship. Again, people are reasonable. They are willing to compromise. I said both sides of the table I've sat on, and I recognize that to be true. I did receive the endorsements of several unions, and that is simply because they feel that nobody gives them civility and respect when it comes to either reopening contracts or changing things in the middle of the contract without bringing them to the table and discussing things that impact upon them. And that's unfortunate because they are the people that are out there teaching our children in the classroom or out on the street while we sleep safely at night. They need to be treated with civility and respect, and they don't believe that they are.
Mr. Moccia?
Well, when you settle contracts, and we've settled contracts with every union in the city, aside from the Board of Ed, and I didn't say I would sit at the table. I said I had made part of previous negotiations, and if it was called for, I would go in and sit down and try to facilitate, as I've done with other contracts over the years. Fair contracts mean fair contracts to the taxpayers, but we settled the contracts. And I said this morning, sometimes when you hear about respect, it's this. When you sit on the other side of the table and you say, I don't believe we can afford to give you that, and the other side gets upset, they claim that's lack of respect. That is called negotiating.
Before we continue,